What's up, I Like Scary? We are back. I hope you're all having an awesome day. I'm having an awesome day. It feels great to be a horror fan. So you all, I just got back from seeing Five Nights at Freddy's by Blumhouse, and yeah, we got to get into it and get into this review and see what we liked and what we didn't like. And yeah, guys, but before we get started, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps the channel. And yeah, guys, so we're gonna start off spoiler free. We're gonna do nothing but spoiler free, talk with the film, and then later in the video I'll let you guys know that we're gonna talk about spoilers. So yeah, you all, let's get into it, starting with spoiler free. And so to get into Five Nights at Freddy's, this is a game that, it has a big following. I've played it, and it was a very creepy game, coming up. And this movie has been in the works for some time, actually. This movie has supposed to be came out a long time ago. I want to say it was connected with like Warner Bros and things like that, from my knowledge. But to get into it, this film has amazing actress Josh Hutcherson. Remember that guy from Bridge of Terabithia back in the day, and he does such a great job as Mike. He does such a great job as Mike. I enjoy his little sister Abby, and them bouncing off energy just felt so real and so natural. But this film takes place off of, dreams and obsession with the Mike character. He has like these dreams and his obsession with this story that takes place in the past in this universe with Five Nights at Freddy's. And I liked how it kind of comes full circle through this film. And I want to say some of this stuff was not in the video game. But they do have a lot of Easter eggs from the video game, but you have to play the game to understand these Easter eggs. Me being myself, being a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I kind of peeped some of the Easter eggs, like, oh, that's super cool, I know what's about to happen, this, that, and the other. So I feel like with this film, you gotta definitely be like a big fan to understand a lot of the angles they're coming from. But overall, I think this film definitely is PG-13. It's definitely PG-13 like they told us. So to get into it, basically, without spoiling anything, Mike, played by Josh Hutcherson, has a little sister he's taken care of, and he's in a tough situation due to some things that happen in their life. And he's kind of looking around for a job, but he's having these little dreams that are happening here and there that are explaining something that's very huge in this story. And I really enjoyed that little dream thing they had going on with Josh Hutcherson, because it was explaining the story. It's a very strong point of the film. And his sister, definitely, this whole relationship felt so real and authentic. But he's going through things. He's having a hard time, with babysitting and stuff like that with his sister. And of course, he gets this wacky ass job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and it goes from there. And it definitely kind of brings you in the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's. Just being in the theater and just watching it, seeing it come to life from this video game we had, years ago, is very cool. Even got a lot of like Easter eggs that were in the video game present, like a real big Easter eggs that were just front line in this film. I think was so cool. I think Josh Hutcherson himself, as Mike, carried the film next alongside of his sister Abby. I think that was cool. Also, I want to say that the Vanessa character, in the video game as security guard, that's what she's trying to play and capture that presence. A lot of the things she said was cringy. A lot of things she said was cringy in my opinion. And it was like her dialogue was real bad. Not her as an actress, just the dialogue. And to kind of tell you guys this, this is kind of bad. I feel like they didn't make this for both sides of, movie watchers and, fans. I think it was just fans for it's kind of, I feel like this movie, you have to be a fan to understand a lot of the things, and that's not good. You got to understand who's this and what's the story behind it, and who's Chica, who's Bonnie, and how they're connected, and all of this, and what's Freddy's Fazbear Pizzeria. They do a good job at introducing those elements, but a lot of the times it'll fall flat for you, just your generic viewer who knows nothing about, Five Nights at Freddy's and, everything connected. I think you'll walk out the theater scratching your head, honestly. I think this is not one of those films where you can't just put just a regular viewer of this movie in front of the screen and expect them to get it. I mean, if you're watching it with some fans, you might get it, but I just think this is made strictly for fans in certain angles, because, happily, I was a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I kind of understood a lot of the stuff with the animatronics and the stories and little Easter eggs, but I feel like it kind of falls flat on the other end of people just being able to come in and watch it and things like that. But yeah, overall though, it definitely does the job for fans, and the story and the acting is very good. I love how the animatronics came together. Jim Henson, you know, did a great job at just putting these together. How the creativity on just seeing how the detail was from the game to the movie. I actually got a chance to see all these animatronics in person, and this film it just doesn't do any justice, man. I got to see Freddy Fazbear in person, Bonnie Chica. They're so detailed, and I just want to say he did a great job. And I like that they actually went with the actual animatronics over CGI, because man, it definitely made it creepy. In certain angles and aspects of this film, it definitely made it creepy with the animatronics being up close in certain scenes, them blinking, you know, from the ears moving, how they're moving. It was just really creepy. But this movie is not one pinch of scary, in my opinion. I mean, it don't feel like a horror movie. It feels just like this movie is made for like the younger crowd, which is very cool, because it could be a gateway for horror, like almost how Goosebumps was back in the day, to get you into horror type of thing. So that is spoiler free, guys. Let's get into the spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So this movie surrounds Mike and his sister Abby, kind of starting off with him being, you know, a security guy at the mall, and he sees this little boy standing alone, and he sees this guy snatch him up, and it kind of reminds him of something that happened to his little brother Garrett years ago, where he got abducted and snatched. Which, I mean, I know I'm a fan of, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's, but I still guessed it. You know, I still guessed this, you know, this film out with Matthew Lillard as William Afton. The moment they showed us that in the trailer, and, you know, you see Spring Bonnie, you kind of know what's about to happen, what's about to go on. But, yeah, so he's kind of has PTSD about child abduction, because that happened to his little brother Garrett, and he loses his job because he just goes crazy and starts, he's just soccer punching this little kid's dad in front of him, so he gets fired. And he actually is looking for a job to keep custody of his little sister Abby, because his aunt is just a bad person in general, and she is doing crazy things on the side to get custody of his little sister, because she thinks that he is not responsible enough. But, you know, Matthew Lillard, oh my God, Matthew Lillard, I'm sorry guys, they did not use him enough. We needed more William Afton, and we needed more Matthew Lillard, because his presence as this character, just Matthew Lillard in general, man, he bodied the role when he did get screen time, but we just needed more of him. And I feel like, you know, with his reveal, it just wasn't enough, especially with us not seeing him enough in this film, in my opinion. I feel like we needed more of, you know, Matthew Lillard to understand more of his character, William Afton. But to push through, we see Garrett, the flashback of Garrett getting abducted at this like cookout with young Mike. He sees that his little brother gets taken away. We see this guy in the front, and you automatically kind of guess like, hey, that's definitely Matthew Lillard, because when he's doing like his interview with Matthew Lillard is very creepy. He's very standoffish, and he has this energy. It's like he's definitely behind something that, you know, Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. And I mean, if you play the game, you put 2 and 2 together. But a lot of the stuff in this film kind of, I feel like, did not go, you know, with the game. I don't remember seeing it with the game. I think they kind of put some new twist on certain things, which is very cool for people who already played the game, because it caught us off guard. But you push through, and Mike takes the job out of him almost losing his sister with custody, and that's one of the things they require. And we see this scene where his aunt is stepping out on the side and trying to get people to figure things out with Mike to get custody, like bad things, kind of pin things on him so she can gain custody of his little sister. And she sends, you know, some people over there to break into Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to make him like he's not doing his job, because Matthew Lillard as William Afton tells him like, hey, you got to make sure this is locked down, do your job, make sure it's safe, no one breaks in and stuff like that. But people break in, and I didn't like that part, how we didn't get any like intake on how Matthew felt about that being broken in. But we see Vanessa step in, which we find out is Matthew Lillard's daughter in this story, William Afton, and that was a great twist. But I feel like we find that out, and she's telling him like, my dad abducted kids and stuff like that, and he did this, and she kind of explained the whole story on how the souls are in the animatronics, their bodies, and the kids were seeing in these flashbacks with Mike's you know, dreams and everything, or you know, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and we see all of them as their human bodies before they're animatronics, which is very cool. But we push through, and we get into this story where they actually want Abby. They want his little sister to become an animatronic like them. And he's like, what do I do to get my, you know, get my brother's, you know, kidnapper, his info, and find out who he is? And they're like, hey, we want Abby. That's how we can make an exchange. You give us your sister, and we will give you the info on who took your little brother. And it comes to find out, you know, it's Matthew Lillard who did all the dirt and stuff like that. But we push through, and I feel like the animatronics in this film definitely was creepy. The way they're blinking, especially Freddy Fazbear, man, he was very creepy. Foxy was creepy, and you could definitely tell that this is PG-13. The way the kills are lined up and how they're utilizing shadows to not show too much. It's definitely a PG-13 movie. Definitely for the younger generation. You know how the blood is getting utilized through the shadows and stuff. But I do feel like the animatronics were creepy. Just, you know, I think the blinking and everything definitely was creepy. But one thing I want to say is the ending of this movie definitely felt like some type of hint at Stu Macher with Scream. Like something just felt Stu Macherish, man. I was smiling, man. Like I was so happy seeing this ending. I wanted more of it because it felt like a tease for Scream. And you know, we saw Matthew, you know, as Spring Bonnie, he takes the head off and he has this knife, and he actually does the ghost face knife wipe. He just does like this, like a tease, you know, that Blumhouse decided to put in there, which is crazy. And he's like, I always come back. And, you know, he's screaming, he's sweating. It just felt so Stu Macher, man. Like, it made me happy, almost like it's a possibility that he can kind of jump back into the Scream franchise, and he still has it with his age and everything, because he did such a great job as, you know, William Afton. He has a Spring Bonnie. He's running around. He stabs his daughter also, and he injures her. That's how willing he was to go to with his plan with these kids, that he was very upset, and he stabs Vanessa. But Abby comes out on top as the hero, and you know, the animatronics loves pictures. She writes the pictures out, and it's basically Spring Bonnie hurting, you know, Bonnie, Freddy, and Cheek and everything. It kind of shows them him and what type of person he is, and it kind of ends like that. But overall, I feel like this film is definitely just for fans. That's just my opinion. For me, I'll say it's a solid 7 out of 10. And, you know, I'm just being honest. Did I like it? It was cool. It was okay. Wasn't the best horror film I've seen this year. It was decent. And I feel like it was because they just stuck to the stuff with Easter eggs and fans and stuff like that. It was very cool. Wish I would have got more Matthew Lillard. Definitely gave me a Stu Macher vibe. I was so happy to see that, and see that they kind of did that. The screen hat tip with the knife swipe. That was very cool. So overall, you know, 7. It's not the best horror film. It's cool. And I definitely feel like you can watch this at home and be satisfied over just buying the ticket and going to the theater. That's just my opinion, though. But comment down below, you all, if you've seen Five Nights at Freddy's, and did you all enjoy it? But unfortunately, it's the end of the video. Don't forget to hit me on my social medias at ILIKESCARY on Instagram, ILIKESCARY_ on TikTok, Brandon Allen on Facebook, ILIKESCARY on Twitter. And yeah, you guys, right there where it says subscribe. Next to it, click subscribe. And also, when you see join, definitely click join to become a member of the channel, get exclusive content and benefits of the channel. And yeah, you guys, I want you to watch some horror movies. Stay scary out there. I love you all. Peace. Until next time.